I went to the Lancasters just now to get her, and she hasn't been there since dinner. I've been along the Crescent. She isn't at Jim's or the Daltons, and your house was dark, so I knew she wasn't there. Well, I just thought I'd look around. The way things have been going here. When did she leave the house, George? About 8:45, and it's 11 now. She hadn't a hat or anything, he added. I haven't told Mother, but, well, where could she go, like that? All she had was a small box with a veil in it. I believe she'd repaired it for Margaret Lancaster. You're sure of that? I saw her out myself. I suppose it's all right. She's perfectly capable of taking care of herself, but where could she go? She wasn't even wearing a hat. We'd better get a policeman, I said. And we can look around, anyhow. I dare say I sounded worried, for he looked at me quickly. You don't really think it's serious, do you? Great heavens, Lou, who would want to hurt her? She isn't particularly pleasant or agreeable, but people don't, well, they don't kill because they don't like somebody. It was not difficult to find an officer around the Crescent during all of this period, and so we picked one up near the gate and took him with us. He was frankly skeptical, although polite enough, when George explained to him. It was dark when she started, he said, and I wanted to go with her, but she didn't want me, and said so. She's been rather more crabbed than usual this last day or so, and I didn't insist. But I waited until I couldn't see her any more. She had no hat on and she carried the flat box with the veil under her arm. She hadn't said she might go elsewhere? No. Where else could she go? Well, the officer said reasonably, she might have gone to a movie. Lots of women go without hats these summer nights. She might have changed her mind later on. I wouldn't get excited yet. There's a movie house on Liberty Avenue, isn't there? There was, of course, and both George and I knew that Miss Lydia often went there, but it would have been difficult to explain to the policeman that on occasions of death in the Crescent we do not go to the movies, or that Miss Lydia was the high priestess of our funeral rites and therefore far removed from such diversions. She didn't go to the movies, George said stubbornly, and let it go at that. The three of us turned and went slowly along the street. The officer had got out his flashlight, a powerful one, and was throwing it along the grass inside the curb, and then into the shrubbery on our left, but without result until we were almost exactly halfway to the Lancasters. Then he swooped down suddenly and picking up an object from the bushes held it out. "This the box?" he said. "It looks like it." "What on earth?" George took the box and stared at it. It was slightly broken at a corner of the lid, but otherwise unharmed. Inside, when he opened it, lay Margaret Lancaster's black veil, and George's face was as pale as his chronic sunburn would permit when he looked at it. "I can't go back and tell Mother," he was saying. "It would about finish her." The officer himself looked grave. He wandered about over the grass, and at last he stooped and picked up something else. He brought it to us in the palm of his hand, and turned the flashlight on it. "Don't know what it is," he said. "Maybe been there a long time. It was kind of trampled into the ground. Either of you ever see it before?" We stared down at it, and then at each other. Lying there under the lamp was the butterfly head of Lydia Talbot's hatpin. I can still remember George's dazed expression. "It's hers, all right," he said. "But listen, Lou. She went out without a hat." The general alarm was raised at midnight, and for once in many years the Talbot house was unlocked and unbolted, and blazing with lights. Inspector Briggs, Mr. Sullivan and two plainclothes men had inspected it inch by inch, but they had found nothing.